Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond Life's Loving Life with Karen Chaston. I'm Karen Chaston and I am so glad that you are here. Merry Christmas. I hope you had an amazing day and Boxing Day and everything is going really well for you at the moment. But of course we know that at this time of year, so many people are finding it's really tough. And of course with the current pandemic that most of us are in, it's not easy at all, especially when you're going through loss and you're trying to figure out the best steps forward. So, as I said, I'm Karen Chaston. I am a Beyond Loss expert. I help people to move beyond any kind of loss and to create their better everyday life. So let me know where you're from. Love to see you. I will read one card. I don't do cards individually. I do one card for the consciousness, for the group consciousness, and for the world. And I love to choose them from these beautiful cards by Marcia Quinton, which are called the Channeled Spiritual Guidance cards. And they are totally amazing as always. So hi, Jen. Great to see you here. So let's see what the group message is for today, whether you're watching it live or in the replay. This message is for you. And then we're going to go into something that I sent out in my Christmas email to everyone who is on my database. And if you're not part of my database, just go to the Chaston Centre and just, download one of the free resources or reach out to me, and then you will be on my list where I can email you. And hi, Karen, nice to see you here. So what is the message for today? Because in the message that I sent out, which went into everyone's inbox on Christmas Day, it was all about obviously making the best of where you're at and understanding that loss comes into us. I don't do individual cards, Jimmy. I just do one group card for everyone. And this is the group card for everyone today. And it's called number 7, Spiritual Priestess. Now let's have a look at this card. Oh my God, doesn't she look like a spiritual priestess? Look at the dog that's standing beside her and the armor that she's wearing, and even behind her. It sort of looks a bit foreboding, but it also looks really comforting. She just looks like she's there to protect us. So let's read what the spiritual priestess is here to share with everyone today. A light in the shadows and darkness. Doesn't it really look like that? The spiritual priestess has entered your life today, taking measure of all she surveys. She brings comfort into a world of shadows and darkness. She heals the wounds of the heart and softens the negative thoughts of the mind. She appeals to your sense of light, which opens the heart, the pathway to regaining strength and joy. I'll read that sentence again. She appeals to your sense of light, which opens the heart, the pathway to regaining strength and joy. You will travel with her through the night, laying to rest your pain and suffering. In the break of day, you will awaken feeling refreshed and healed. Her strength and power is lent to you for the time you need. She will grant you the opportunity to move forward. Pray for your recovery and enlightenment to unfold in the turbulent world that surrounds you. Oh my God, how appropriate is that card for today? Hi, Elizabeth, great to see you here. Isn't that an amazing card for everyone? So enjoy that card. And it is so true. She will grant you the opportunity to move forward. Pray for your recovery and enlightenment to unfold in the turbulent world that surrounds us. And it is a bit of a turbulent world that surrounds us at the moment. But do you know what? When you don't focus on it, it's not so turbulent. And that's what I love to do. I had someone ask me, are you worried about this or are you worried about that? And I went, no, because what you focus on grows. So if you're putting a whole lot of attention to it, well, then obviously it will grow and it will blow up. But when you don't, it doesn't seem to be so large. Don't do cards, Hazel. I just do one card for the group, and then we talk about what I want to talk about today. And today what we're going to talk about is something that I think all of us need to know. And it's I'm going to give you 10 little tips on how you can bring this more into your life. Because what I've found with all of the people that I work with is that when loss does come into their life, and loss is going to come into every single person's life, you can't get past it, especially when you understand that we are on a continual journey from love to loss and then back to love. And because of our lack of loss intelligence, most of us know how to love, but we don't know what to do when loss comes into our life. And loss comes into our lives. It really does. A lot of the time, we don't even realize that it's a grief-causing situation, because a lot of the times we just think loss is death and death is grieving. But there's so many other loss events that can come into our lives, which is why I love to share what I do on this platform, because there are over 40 different loss events that can affect all of our lives. So when you look at this list, you can see that up to date, no matter how old you are in your life, you would have had multiple major losses in your life. And sometimes you think, oh, but that's a good thing, some of these things. Where's the loss? And of course, when you're on a path which is really great at the moment, things will change. Things like a pregnancy. It's a great thing to be pregnant if you want to be pregnant. But then, your life is going to change. It's not going to be the same as what you were before you became pregnant. You won't be going out partying like you do maybe every night, and certainly won't be able to be drinking and things like that. So it is about you knowing and honoring that this is something that has happened in your life where you will be different from who you were yesterday to who you are today. So what I want to talk about today is, as I said earlier, I send out a Christmas email, as I do, to all the people who are part of my community. And it was wishing them a Merry Christmas, but also helping them to understand that at this time, loss really does come to the forefront. You may have an empty seat at the table, or you may be at a different table to where you were last year. You may be in a different home. You may have moved. You may have gone through a divorce or a job loss, or your health or your wealth. So many things can change from year to year. And when we reflect back, we can go into a bit of overwhelm and a bit of loss and feel even more depleted at this time of year. And that's why I wanted to share what I'm going to share with you today, because when you have self-love in your life, no matter what happens in your life, you will always be in a scenario where you will have love for where you are, no matter what has happened, because what happens in the past is our learning, so that we can go forward with having been experienced something. And we will always learn more from what we experience than reading about it. Firsthand experience. There is no way I could have ever possibly known what it is like to lose a child, through death, to have someone on the other side who is younger than you. You sort of expect your parents to pass before you, but you certainly don't expect your children to pass before you. So that in itself was something that, if you haven't experienced, it's really hard to explain to others what it is like and how devastating it can be at times, but also how joyous it can be at times, because everything I do now I credit to my son, Dan, and he is the co-founder of the Chaston Centre with me, because I know that if he had not passed over 10 years ago, I certainly wouldn't be who I am today, and I wouldn't be doing what I am today. And I probably would still be playing small, because that's something that really has come to the forefront in this 10-year journey, is how much I held myself back, and how much we all hold ourselves back. So with these 10 self-love steps that I'm about to share with you, it's really interesting that when you start to embrace them into your life, you will have love for yourself. And when you have love for yourself, it's not from a selfish perspective. It's from the more I look after me, the more I can look after everyone else, the more I can provide, the more I can fulfill my hopes, dreams, and aspirations, the more that I can be the example for other people to go, wow, just look, all these things that have happened to her or him in their life. And yet, they are still showing up. They're still living and loving their life. And what's their secret? Because that's what I want to know, because I know that things come into your life to assist you to become the person who you came here to be, to get out of your own way, so to speak. And believe me, I was always in my own way. Even in my journey up to here, from the time I left corporate, I was in my own way for a long time, still in my ego, still not fully ready to embrace the true me. It was easier to have that persona. And let's face it, we all have a persona, someone who we will be, but is it really us? And that's the question. So I'm just going to take a quick drink, and then we're going to deep dive into these 10 spots. That was a big drink, but that's okay. So ask any questions as we go along. Hi, Tashina. Nice to see you here. Okay. Wake up, look in the mirror and say, I love you. Now, do you do that? Okay. It's not an easy thing to do, especially, you've just woken up, and sometimes we don't look our best when we just wake up, but that's the most perfect time to actually look in the mirror and say, I love you. You could even take it one step further and give yourself the old Fonzie salute, hey, as you look in the mirror. And what happens when you do this? You may start off faking it till you make it, but believe me, when you do, you stand a little taller, your shoulders go back, and you really do fill yourself up with all of the love and the joy and the happiness that will sustain you for the rest of the day. And it's amazing what happens when you actually do this every morning. Just make a promise to yourself to do it over the next week. Promise to do it for 7. You may do it 3 or 4 times if you're lucky. But the point is that you're doing it. And then notice the difference, especially in your stature. Because when we stand tall and when we stand straight, we just know that we can just fulfill like a tree. We can just reach our arms out and become the branches, and we can just bring in everything that we desire in our life. I promise you, just try it and you will be amazed. The next one is trust your instincts. If it feels wrong, don't do it. How often do we seek our advice from someone else, from outside of ourselves, which when you think about it, it isn't really ideal. It's a little crazy. They've never walked a step in your shoes. They're not with you 24/7. They don't know how you feel about certain things. Sure, you may, portray a little bit or share a little bit, but they don't know deep down inside of you who you truly are. And a lot of the times we hide our shadow side, which we only want people to see the best side of us. So how can they truly tell you what is the best thing for you? And so often we just don't trust our gut. So we have 3 brains. We have our brain, our head brain, our mental brain. We have our heart brain. We have our gut brain, which is down in our belly. And it's really important that when you breathe and do those really beautiful, conscious, loving breaths, which when you breathe in and you breathe all the way down into your belly, you're activating the nerve endings of the vagus nerves, which starts in your belly and goes all the way up to your hypothalamus, which is your brain center. So doing that, and it's going all the way up past your heart. So what you're doing when you do those beautiful, conscious, loving breaths is you're activating your 3 brains. And that's the best way for you to ever choose what to do. But the more you do it and the more you trust your instincts, the better that you become at it. Because so often it's really hard to trust things we can't see, and we don't, we sort of downplay how important we are in our life, but it is our life. So the more that you trust your instincts, the more that you'll actually start to do things that other people will say things like, I don't know about that. I've just been reading a book. It's called Believe It by Jamie Kern Lima. And she started her cosmetics in her home with her husband, and they starved for like 5 years, working horrendous days, something like 16-hour days for 10 years in total. She did it. She ended up selling her company for $1 billion, right? And everyone sees the end result, but they don't see the things that she did on those 10 years to get that $1 billion, and the sacrifices that she made to her health, her relationship, her friendships, to so many things. But she said every single time that I trusted my instinct and I went against what these people who have been in the industry for years and years and years, I always catapulted myself far beyond what they ever expected. And so many of them came back and wrote to her when she sold her company for $1 billion and actually said, wow, congratulations, I was wrong. You were so right in trusting your instincts. So just start to think, what is something that I can do that was really start to trust my gut feeling? Because if you look around following other people's advice, has it got to you to where you really want to be? And that's the great question to ask yourself every single day. The next one is say yes to everything that scares you. It's pretty scary, isn't it? And I totally agree. It does take you a while to be able to do this. But if someone asks you to do something and you feel in yourself, oh, I don't know how to do this. What am I going to do? There's no way I could do this. It's way too scary. That's when you say yes. Figure out later how you can do it, but say yes to it. Because if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And always remember that. So start to say yes to things that really scare you. And then on the other hand, never say yes when it means saying no to you. So what does that mean? And it's not just a really nice play on words. So what it is if you are a people pleaser, if someone asks you to do something and you go, yeah, I'll do that, that'll be right, you need to sort of step back before you actually say, yeah, I'll do that for you. You need to step back and you need to ask yourself 3 little questions, right? Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. I really appreciate you saying that. Just so if people are not reading the comments, let me see if I can get out of here. Yes, I can. So, Elizabeth, you said you're so interesting and it makes sense. Thank you, Elizabeth. I really do appreciate you saying that. So what I'm saying with this is never say yes when it means saying no to you. So if you sort of say to someone, they asked you to do something and you'll say, yeah, sure. And then later you go, oh, my God, I wish I didn't have to do this. I've got all this other stuff I wanted to do. You know, I've got my own personal stuff. I'm trying to, you know, learn this or read this and get ahead with this or do something or even just clean my house. But now I can't clean my house because I promised that I would go and do this for someone else. So a great little trick that you can do is before you say yes, just ask yourself 3 questions. Am I going to love doing this? Is this going to bring me joy? And then the next question is this going to put me behind on achieving my goals because it's going to take, say, 2 hours for me to do this, whereas I could put those 2 hours towards me completing this assignment or reading this book or just lounging around having a massage, which is just all of those things are just as important. There's none that is more important than the other. And then the third question is you can say, is it the right thing to say yes? Like by me saying yes to her, why doesn't she do it for herself? You know, what is it? Am I actually helping her or hindering her or him, whatever the case may be? Now, if you get a no for any of them, is it going to bring me joy? No. Is this going to make me sacrifice, you know, my time? And, you know, you'll go, well, yeah, it's not helping me in any way. Just say no. But don't say no with a proviso. Like don't say, oh, no, I can't do this because of this, because they'll rearrange their request. Just say no. You don't owe them anything else. Just say no, I can't do it. I've got my other things that I need to do for me so that I can achieve my goals in the future. I can't just keep pedaling where I am. The next one is never speak bad about yourself or others. Now, this is really important. This is one that it's really would be great for us to ideal. Now, a lot of the times you'll hear people say things which are bad-mouthing other people. And I just sit there and I listen and I just let them go. I won't comment one way or the other. I just leave it. Because when you're talking about yourself or others and you're putting them down, it brings you down. And it lowers who you are, and you may even have regrets about later and think, oh, I shouldn't have really said that because that's not really what I think about this or that or whatever. Now, speaking bad about yourself, the more that you say, I'm going to have a quick sip again, sorry. So the more that you talk down to yourself, the more that your unconsciousness will really start to embrace it. You know, so often, how many times do you hear someone call themselves stupid or an idiot or stuff like that? I'm like, why would you call yourself that? You're not an idiot. You just did a little silly thing just now. That doesn't make you an idiot. One activity does not make you an idiot. So it's really important to listen to the way that you are talking about yourself and others, because your words are so important. Our unconscious or subconscious mind takes us at our word. So if we are continually putting ourselves down, it will put us down. It won't help you to rise to become the person who you really want to become. So think about that. The next one is be kind to yourself. You know, so often we put ourselves last and we, you know, work ourselves till exhaustion, looking after other people, doing things for everyone else, and not just actually, you know, feeling guilty if we decide to have a lazy day at home, a day where I'm just going to do nothing. I'm just going to sit on the couch and I'm just going to, you know, consume a couple of movies and just feel great about it at the end of the day. How often do you do that? And then you look at the end of the day and you go, oh my God, I've wasted the day. But you haven't. You have revitalized yourself. You have given yourself exactly what you need. Now, if you were doing it 7 days a week, well, maybe you should rethink it. But the fact is, the more that you actually start to embrace these things and really feel into them, the better that you will feel. So be kind to you. If you're doing kindness acts for everyone else, actually say, wow, I'm going to do that for myself. You know, I'm going to give myself that hot stone massage, or I'm going to actually take the time to just sit here and read the book in the breeze and just feel amazing, not feel guilty, just know that I really do deserve this. Right. Say what you mean. Oh, that's a really good one, isn't it? How often do we not say what we mean because we think, and I'm not saying say what you mean to be mean, but say what you mean. Like if this is how you feel, you can still say it with kindness, but say it. Just say, look, I don't like it when you do this, and this is how you make me feel when you do this. And is that your intention? Because sometimes we misinterpret things. I know for a fact that I misinterpret. If you've been on my show for a while, you'll know that when I was 16, I had a daughter, and I adopted her out, and she's in my life. But we misunderstand each other more often than not. And we've now, and over the years, you know, over the past 20 years, we've had a lot of misunderstandings. Whereas when we've discussed it, we've actually gone, no, that's not what I said. And but they'll go, either her or me will go, but that's what I heard. And it's like, well, it's not what you heard, it's how you interpreted it. So then when we clarify it, they go, oh, yeah, right, I can see what you said now, but that's what I wasn't. So sometimes it's really important to say what you mean in a way that people can understand it. And when you say it, you can ask people, what did you just hear? Because sometimes people react completely differently to the way you expect them to react. So you can actually say, well, what did you just hear? Because that's not what I said. And that's why say what you mean really leaves nothing open to interpretation. So that's always the best way to do it. The next one is love your body. It doesn't matter what size your body is, how small you are, how big you are, just love it. You know, when I have my retreats, we do one of these exercises that we do, which is an amazing exercise. And it is where I get people to actually, you know, stand up if you love your nose, stand up if you love your face, stand up if you love this, sit down if you don't, you know, all this sort of stuff. And we come to the end and I will find that everyone is standing because they don't like, or everyone's sitting down because they don't like some part of their body. You know, and then we say, okay, let's design your perfect body. So just, you know, you can draw it or you can write down, I'd like this nose, I'd like to be this height, this shape, right? And then we look at the end of the exercise and we go, okay, so stand up if you have just described who you are. And no one will stand up because no one describes who they are. And then I'll say, isn't this interesting? Because you all did this exercise before you came down to earth. You all decided who you would be, what would you look like, your body, everything, how you would look, everything about you. So what's changed in your life that now you no longer want to be the person who you are? And then we sit and discuss it. And it's such an amazing discussion because everyone starts to go, wow, I did decide to be me. So what is it that I don't love about who I am? I highly recommend you sit down and do that exercise. Or come along to one of my retreats. That's just as much fun. Never give up on your dreams. Now, we're coming into a new year, and I know a lot of people make New Year's resolutions at this time of year, but I really want you to sort of sit back and just look at the last year and actually say, what were my dreams, at the beginning of 2021? Where am I? Have I fulfilled them? Am I in a better place, a not so ideal place? Really important for you to actually sit there and actually figure out where, never give up on your dreams and decide, is it a dream that you really want to achieve? And if it is, sit down. What are the action steps that I need to take? Because dreams are not going to just happen without action steps, okay? Sure, we would all love them just to dream it and let it happen, but it's not the way that we work in this realm. In other realms, it may work that way, but not on Earth. So it's really important for you then to say, right, this is a dream I really want to achieve. So what are my action steps? What are the skills I require? What are the things that I need to do? Sit down and actually really start to plan it, start to feel it, start to visualize it. That's a step that so many people miss, is the visualization of their dreams. Because when you can see it, you can feel it, you can make it happen, because that invokes all of your senses, and that's what you want to do with all of your dreams. Start to invoke every single sense, including your sixth sense, and you'll be amazed at how they will come into reality so much more quicker. But not only that, they'll come in even bigger and better than the way that you've dreamt them, because we all play small. We all play small. And the universe has a better ideal for us. So if they haven't happened exactly the way that you wanted them, have a look around and see if they have happened in a slightly different way, slightly better way. And then I'm running out of time. Never, ever, ever stop dancing. Now, this is your self-love steps, right? And that last one is one of the most important ones. Turn on the music and really start dancing around. Whenever you don't feel self-love in your life, or whenever you're feeling lonely, just seriously, it doesn't matter if you're alone. You can love who you are being alone. Turn up that music like the house is full of people. Start dancing around. Start invoking all of those feel-good hormones into your body, and guaranteed you will start to feel amazing. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you. So that is our 10 steps for today for self-love steps. Now, I'll be back on Thursday just before the new year for half an hour, as always, 30 minutes from 11 a.m. Queensland. So come and join me for just before the start of 2022. I don't know about you, but I am so excited about 2022. My intention word for 2021 was loving, and next year it's growth. And I have to say, when I look back at my whole year, every relationship has more loving in it. I have more loving for myself. Every single relationship, my daughters and my relationship has gone through the roof in the most amazing way. She's actually, as I'm talking now, driving from Sydney to the Gold Coast to spend a week, 10 days with me. And I'm so excited to have my time with just her. This has never, ever happened before for so long, for the last 20 years. So it's really, really exciting. But it's because I took 6 weeks in Sydney this year to increase our relationship. So it's really amazing. So as always, remember, Demystifying Loss. This is my beautiful international best-selling book, which came out just a month ago. And please, I do yourself a favor. No matter where you are in life, I can tell you right now, there are steps in here that will assist you to move beyond your past loss events, to move beyond your current loss events and your future loss events. This is the book that you will reuse for the rest of your life, because it has the steps in there that you can pick up and always use. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Elizabeth. I really do hope that you've all enjoyed today's little episode. As I said, self-love is so important. It's the love that truly, it would have been so ideal if we all learned it at school. So until Thursday, I hope you have an amazing week, and remember to make each day meaningful, memorable, and magical. Bye for now.